Just when you thought this wasn't going to get any more fun, introducing Exulan hmm So this lovely new turf creator is basically on a warpath to just take apart any youth here who's gender nonconforming, gender queer, trans, non-binary, etc. So let's go at her video and explain to her why she's wrong in this case.
Here are some ways you can explore your gender identity
This is not
Why
her.
would you need to
This is.
explore something that was fully formed by age 3?
regardless of how you currently identify.
So the first one obviously is not her. The second one is. So fully formed. So here's the thing. Karen, I guess would be a fitting name for you. No, I actually have good Karens on here. So I think that like maybe we should just call her like what all adults call. But I'm even like not wanting to call her a cunt because a cunt's actually strong and resilient. And apparently her weak opinions don't qualify. So anyway, from the get-go, you could see where she's going. She wants to be condescending of anyone, and as I say of TERFs quite often, they don't care the gender, the biology, or the sex assigned at birth. They just want a target to attack so they can make themselves popular. That's why we're tearing apart this person, because starting now, this is going to be anti turf, anti transphobe territory. Buckle up. So, the problem with her thing is that it is not, it may be fully formed. Bear with me for a second, but not fully explored. We have, as people, to deconstruct socializations that our parents, that society, that like generations of lessons have taught us about ourselves that may actually be oppressive, wrong, mistaken, and misguided. And when we do that, we have to like relearn where we fit in the world. Um, for example, someone assigned female at birth not wearing makeup. She has to learn how to navigate that against the social pressures. But of course, that's a simple example, and it gets far more complicated. But and stick with me here for a second. But the the final thing about it still is about the same. So yeah, apparently the turf of TikTok has struck.
If we all have a gender identity and it's fully formed by the time we are in pre-K, why would our identification ever change?
Easy, because we change, we grow up, we mature, we develop as individuals and human beings. We I could go on. There are far too many sophisticated reasons. And this is obviously going to be a YouTube video for the case here. But yeah, there are a lot of reasons. Unlearning trauma, trauma responses, trauma bonding, traumatic socializations. Uh, Seriously, if you don't know why we change, and you don't know why something, um, and by the way, and this is well noted, that a lot of people are socialized out of who they are over time. So a lot of like maturing and getting to that point is unlearning the wrong lessons we got that put us in a place where we are this far from where we used to be or where we originally were. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, but there's certainly good reasons to explore. And what you're saying um is not completely true. in the sense that no one knows all their likes. You have to taste like ice cream before you know. You have to like look at a boy before you know you can like him or not. And same thing with look at a girl. And a ton of other things. Look at everyone to know you completely detest them equally.
Why? Are we all just so repressed that we forgot?
First, give yourself room to be fluid.
She's correct in this and this one, and giving yourself room to be fluid. And yes, honey, are you looking at your photograph? Are you looking at the way you're keeping yourself so solid, still, unemotional, unexpressive? You have absolutely no real. This is like er, er, is completely mechanical, and I'll do a TikTok response to this, so be ready. But yeah, no, you just don't have it. It's sorry, you are just completely like, yeah, we're repressed, and you, my friend, are one of the prime examples.
Okay, 70% water, check.
Whether that means my gender exists.
Seriously, are you taking your lessons directly from misogynists now? Like, that is the first thing sexist, misogynistic women, gay men hating, like pigs say. And honestly, I shouldn't call them pigs either, because pigs are very friendly and smart animals. And from what I'm seeing of you, hmm, I'll leave that to the masses because I'm not that like mean that I'm actually gonna like come at you like that.
Outside of the binary.
What does it mean for your gender to exist outside of the binary?
I'm glad you asked. What it means for gender to exist outside the binary is that it means it is not exactly boy or girl, pink or blue, chocolate strawberry or chocolate vanilla. I mean, we've been socialized to believe that the selections, that the way we express, the way we communicate, etc., has been decided through two set boxes, which complete all biology, and that is just like untrue. I mean, even discounting the fact that all biology is far more complex than two boxes, the fact that gender itself is a social norm and not an actual biological fact says that binary does not exist as something confining. So to exist outside the binary means you break those boundaries.
My gender exists outside of social norms.
I am typically referred to medical organizations that define gender with reference to social and cultural norms, and this is
Oh God. Yeah, so we know this and they've been changing it because they're aware of this. I don't know whether you know this or not, but gender norms are slowly being watered out of actual medical documentation in favor of a more systematic biology based identification. Just saying. So the idea of like you being one, the other, or either is no longer like medically relevant, and it's being phased out of most forms these days.
supposedly the source of the consternation is that we are being put into a social role that we do not feel fits us.
Oh wow, I can't believe you just said something that just made so much sense. So right, a social role we feel that does not fit us. So you get it. So my question is, why are you attacking this child if you get where they're coming from. My only mindset is you want likes and you want popularity. But let's let it go a bit further, shall we?
And now we're being told that our genders can exist apart from social rules? How does
Yeah, it's like your names. You can be called Karen, you could be called Karina, you could be called Katrina, you could be called Bob. Hell, you can be called Bob, whether you're Bob Robert, Bob Bobber, or just Bob and whatever. It can be separate. That's a thing. It's a thing that feminism has been fighting for since the onslaught of time. And yet people like you with these ridiculous notions that we have to rebind the change are fighting to go backwards for what?
that work?
or my gender exists outside of time.
Oh yeah, right next to Jesus and Zeus?
Well, this is what I'd love to know from you because you're 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 basically reinforcing these mythos like crazy. Um so I'm beginning to wonder, do you exist next to Jesus and Zeus? And who else? And Thor and all those wonderful mythical or Bridget, you know, Druid goddess. Anyway, so let's not even go there. So yes, please continue with this rant that you're trying to link to sensible logic, but you're just not doing it.
We are gender atheists. We do not believe in entities.
Wait, hold on. You said you believe in A or B, and it must be changed to that, right? And now you're gender atheist, which means you don't believe in any of it. Which, by the way, as an actual atheist, I take offense to that. And an actual agnostic atheist, I take offense to that because it's ridiculous to compare the two schools of thought. For the longest time, when we were all GNC and GQ before like the revolutions of non-binary and transgender, you like yeah, and now you're trying to make this stuff up against it. No, you're not atheist anything. You're basically like you're basically like Catholic. You're pretending to be the nicer Christian, but you're not. You're not. You're just reinforcing the same old masochistic dichotomy.
That exist outside of time. You're welcome to believe in such entities, but the state in a secular country can only ever legally legislate things that exist within time.
So giving yourself space to evolve and change. Here are some ways you can explore your gender.
So, all right, there are a few things wrong with you, and I could go on. I love the original creator. I will like hopefully they're on my wall and see this. Um, but as for you, um, Miss Miss Exulensic, um, of course you picked a name like that. You're like, I gotta pick a name that sounds cool. It doesn't, and neither do you. And you don't sound rational either. You first try to bind this argument to the fact that there are only two, and you say that's a fact. Then you say it's because it's institutionalized and it's forced on you. But then you go, you're an atheist, so you don't buy into that, but you're really not. In the end, I believe, like most TERFs, You are a white libertarian, not liberal, or white semi conservative feminist who is trying to publish under the guise of someone who actually knows and actually has weighed their identity um past all this like other stuff and considered what all this means beyond performance beyond performativity and and other things that impact us under the social climate and you just like you're gonna use this for all it's worth to get all the likes and shares you can, but you ain't fooling us. The people who've actually done the work know very well what you're saying is relatively meaningless in the end. Because what you're really saying when you criticize a person like that is, I don't believe you have the right to your identity. I don't believe you have the right to your own body. I believe I have the right to control it. So you are saying that you are just as evil as the misogynist in Texas. Take that pill. Good night.